Unmuted.
Hi, is anybody on the call yet?
I am. This is Jezebel.
Hi, Jez.
Hey.
Can you see me on the webinar yet?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, awesome. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay. I'm fantastic. I'm actually really excited to do this call because that's why I did it so last minute. I just wanted to get this information out to you guys because I know that a lot of my struggles in my journey had to do with organization and just kind of knowing when things needed to happen and what needed to happen consistently. So, do you hear an echo like I do in my ear?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. Well, as long as you don't hear it. It's annoying to me, but as long as you're not hearing it, it's fine.
Okay. Well,
okay, everybody else that joined on later on or via recording, thank you so much for caring about your own business and your success to participate. It was a last-minute thing that I decided to do, so if you didn't know about the live webinar, it's okay. I didn't send out the live to everyone. I basically sent it out to most of my leaders that help me lead the training calls and run their business full-time, mostly, or at least as an actual business. So this information needed to get out to them ASAP. All this stuff is definitely going to be useful for all of you that are doing this as a hobby or just starting out your business. If you implement this type of thing now, I promise you your Scentsy business will stay simple and fun, so as well as productive, which is very, very important, obviously. Today is November 17th. 2013, and today's training call is basically about organizing your life, because all of these things that we're going to be talking about today can be implemented into your actual home life, which actually will link to more time available for your Scentsy family business. And the one thing that you'll hear me say, if you've been with the company for a while, you'll know that I always am a big advocator of Scentsy as a way of life. And once you go through this training, you'll kind of understand, have a little bit of a better understanding about what I mean by that. Because pretty much everything links to the next thing. If we slack or are unorganized in one area, it affects the next area in our life. Our personal time with our family, our personal time for ourselves, which is very important. So it all starts out with having a plan. Now, if all of you at this point in your business don't know what your plan is for your business, if you don't know if this is a hobby for you, if you don't know if this is something you'd like it to turn into a business, you don't even know why you joined, that's going to take a big factor in the effectiveness in your life as well as in your business. Because if you don't know and you can't see what you're targeting at every single day when you wake up, things will start to pile over each other, as well as things will start to slip through the cracks. Important tasks that need to be done, and over time when they're not done, you are stressed, you're behind on business, on social time with your family, your house tends to start to cave in on you. Now, I will tell you at the very beginning of a business, until you learn these concepts, the dishes will pile up. The floor will not get mopped as often as you'd like. Laundry will start to need to be done all the time, and you feel like you haven't had a chance to do it in a while. So you will have loads of laundry in your laundry basket. But this training is going to help you be able to figure out when can you implement all that and not get so behind that you start to break down and feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, and nothing seems to be happening. So with that being said, I will tell you that the majority of people that are starting a business do go through that phase. Because although you're going through this training, it's going to take a while for you to actually implement it consistently. It's a learning process. because you can't just say, okay, now I'm organized, now I know what I need to do. It requires discipline, and discipline is the hardest thing that anybody can inflict on themselves. So especially because this business is independent, your director, myself, or if you have another director, your leader, we're not your bosses, so we're not going to be calling up and checking up on what you're doing unless you actually specifically say, hey, Jess, this is what I need from you. I absolutely need you to ask me what I'm doing. I need you to find out what my results are so it'll keep me going. But if you don't specifically tell your sponsor or your director to do that, it's not their job to do that, and they have their own business they're running. But if you absolutely want this business to be up and running and you want to be learning and implementing the things that you learned today, but you know you're the kind of person that needs that push, make sure you reach out to your sponsor. And if your sponsor isn't doing that for you, reach out to your director, because I promise your director, whether it's myself or Heather or somebody else that's watching this video, they did not make director because they don't care and they don't want your success. So, or your upline. You may have somebody in your upline that is not a director yet, but is actively in their business, taking a valid, huge role in the leadership of this of Jesse's Angels group. So I may even direct you to one of them so they can assist you and implement coaching, which is a part of directorship. So it's all kind of like an intertwined, like I said, everything leads to the next. So if they're helping you, they are helping themselves learn how to become a director. So with that being said, I want to start off with a calendar, okay? Everybody in their lives uses a calendar at one point, whether you are an organized person or not. You have to know if you are going to the dentist at 5:30 on Thursday. So the only way that we could remember that is going to happen is if you place it inside a calendar. Now, whether you utilize a phone calendar or a actual hard calendar, or you just print one out like this, this is actually the November calendar for the Team Make It Happen group that Callie Petticord sent out to all of us because we're part of her group, which I think is fantastic. If you are not utilizing this for your business, even if you haven't even gone through this training yet, this is definitely a way to start. I mean, this is actually a huge way of getting your business built, as well as getting you on a system to know what are things you could be doing every day. If you're just lost saying, I have no idea what I could start with, this is what you could start with. It's telling you, okay, if you do these tasks, it's going to be working your business and starting the motion of building a business. So the first step is to create a calendar. Now, we also have to write down everything that needs to happen on that day, in that week, and in the month. So if you already know that you have a family reunion on November 25th, and things that are scheduled far in advance, you want to put that in your calendar and maybe highlight it for a certain color, so you know that is family time, personal time. But now that I said that, a family reunion, is that just personal time, or is that a business opportunity to expose your business to a family member that you may not have had a chance to see in a long time or connect with? So placing a little highlighter of business to remind yourself to prepare for that Scentsy family reunion. Now, what needs to happen in order to prepare for your Scentsy family reunion? Or not Scentsy family, your personal reunion. This links back to the rest of your month, okay? Let's start. I'm just going to use Callie's calendar. Now, this can be your actual calendar, your book, or your phone, okay? Which, funny enough, I think I left my phone upstairs, which is interesting. What you do in the rest of the days is going to set you up for that big day that you need to prepare for a party or for a huge family reunion that you're going to be exposed to tons of your family and friends, or an event that you're going to be exposed to, thousands of people. Because taking the steps each day is going to add up to that ultimate day. Because you're going to have the freedom to designate time to prepare and finalize all the things that you need on that big, huge day of a Scentsy family party or an event or a personal event that's going to also generate business. What needs to be done in a day? The laundry, your dishes, dinner needs to be cooked, lunches need to be made for tomorrow for your children to go to school. Time needs to be set aside to help your kids with homework, okay? You need to go grocery shopping. You have a basket party to drop off. In order for these to get done, they have to be broken down into priorities. Now, I'm going to recommend to all of you that are brand new that may not have been with me when I did this specific training, but I'm going to post it on our Jesse's Angels group page, but it is called Organize Your Scentsy Business. And I actually did the training on this. So a lot that's in here, I'm not going to waste my time going over again because it was already done, and you could do that on your own time. So today, if anybody can mute themselves that's on live, I can hear some background noising. I'm sorry. The one thing I do want to bring up, though, that's in this training is the 4 Ds. Now, many of you that have been through this before, have been with me for a while, you're like, oh, Jess, really, you're going to talk about the 4 Ds again? Absolutely, I'm going to talk about the 4 Ds again, because I will tell you, when I stop implementing the 4 Ds, that is when my business goes crazy, and I feel like I'm overwhelmed, and I don't know where to go, and my family life turns into chaos, because I'm not implementing the things that need to happen, and I'm not prioritizing. What are the 4 Ds? Delete, delay, diminish, and delegate. It's called the 4 Ds. Okay, delete. This is something that we may have to do several times in our lives, even every day. I noticed that was probably going to be a little bit better. What can you delete in your life that doesn't need to happen? That most of us people, especially Scentsy family consultants, because we all generally are very, very giving and loving and caring, and we're servers. We like to serve others. We like to make people feel good, which is a quality that I absolutely don't think you should lose. That is why you will be successful in this business. But you have to learn to be able to say no, okay? Deleting things that don't have to do with your personal life and your personal business, that are not going to help you and your family and your business, is essential in order to grow a business and to have an organized life. Now, once you get on a system and you know your world, you know your business, you know your life and what needs to happen, you've got your systems going, then that's when you can add those extra things that don't have anything to do with you but serving others into your life. Sorry, Mitch is bringing me coffee. Thank you, babe. He's serving me, yes. Let me give you an example. Deleting television out of your life. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, what? That's how I relax. That's how that's my family time. Now, is that effective family time? Sitting and not talking at all and getting to know your family and friends and your family and the people that are around you. When you think about it, it separates you. It separates you from feeling like you're spending time with those people. Because when you're spending time, you're interacting, you're getting to know them. You're getting to know what happened in their day. You're finding out what their concerns are, what their struggles are at school or at their job with your spouse, things like that. Sitting in front of a TV is wasted time. Time that if you are not going to be utilizing properly, you will be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Again, this is something you have to ask yourself. Am I truly in this to make this a business? Am I truly trying to grow my life and really know what I'm doing and spend the time with my family when I can with quality time? So when they grow up later on, they're going to remember sitting and playing a board game with me and talking about their day at school. Those are things we have to think about. This is all stuff that links to your business because you're training yourself to get to know your child, your spouse, which links to your business. How does that link to your business? This is a people business. You have to know how to get to know people. You have to know how to get people to open up to you. Now, this is a big task when it comes to a small child. Have you ever had a child come home and you say, "What'd you do today?" "I don't know. I don't remember." Have you guys ever had that? Because I have it all the time. So we have to learn to ask the right questions. What was your favorite part of your day today? Then it's going to make them have to think, right? When I went to lunch. Why? Why was lunch your favorite part of the day? Was it because you love what you were eating? Was it because you, sat by your best friend? Those are the same type of questions we're going to be asking in our business to people that are customers, hostesses, and new consultants, and team members to find out what they need from you. Let's move it along. Deleting things that don't need to happen. Utilizing your time so they could be productive. Spending an hour in a movie or on a movie at your house, you could spend more quality time with your family in 30 minutes that's going to be more impactful by sitting down and talking to them, and then be able to leave that extra 30 minutes that you would have been sitting down, or even hour and 30, or another hour, because some movies are about an hour and a half long, to implement things that need to happen in your day. Folding laundry, washing your dishes, filing your nails that hasn't been done, tweezing your eyebrows, things that are building up that you're like, "Oh my God, I don't even have time to do that. I need to do that." And it's starting to build up. It's going to break down your self-confidence because you haven't had time to tweeze your eyebrows and your eyebrows are all furry and you're like, "Oh, I look so gross." That's going to create tension in you. It's going to take away the confidence in you, which is going to affect your family life as well as your personal life. I mean, your business, your professional life. Because what's going on in your mind is what's going to help the effectiveness of everything that's going on outside of your life. Delay. Does this need to happen right now? A lot of us tend to kind of focus on the things that we like to do. Oh, I really like looking at all the posts on Facebook and answering questions on my team. Because you feel like you're helping, right? You are, but are you helping your team by training them that sitting on Facebook and answering questions all day is what you need to do? Or is sorry, I just got sidetracked for a second. Is showing them that you are effectively working your business by preparing for things that need to be done right now more effective and more beneficial for your team. Instead of answering questions when you should be preparing for your home party or following up with somebody that said that they need you to call them by 5 o'clock, and now you're 30 minutes late. Now you are cramming to get that party together because you sat up on Facebook answering questions for questions that probably could be answered if they just looked in their resources tab, or that you could look in your resources tab later on when you are focusing on things that don't need to happen right now. So that's delaying things that don't need to happen right now until it's time for them to happen. And that's where creating a system in your daily calendar comes in, which we will get to. Diminish. This is your priorities. If you have a party on Friday and you haven't even begun to prepare for your party until Friday or even Thursday, that is also going to create tension and frustration, and your nerves are going to be going crazy. So diminish the things that need to happen that's on that priority list, so when it gets closer to the time frame that needs to get done, all you're doing is finalizing. You're doing all the hard work, all the tedious, time-consuming things earlier on in your week. So eventually, when it's time to do it, it's a smooth transition into actually going to your party because everything's done. So diminish the things that need to happen and put them on your priority. So if you have a party Friday, your priority should be to start preparing on Monday, slowly, and breaking it up into each day. So by the time Friday rolls around, all you're doing is grabbing your bag and going. Delegating. Delegating is huge. When I stop delegating, that's when I start to get overwhelmed. Now, what could we delegate? These are things that you personally don't have to be doing. You personally have to be calling up your customers because you're the one that has the relationship with them. You personally needs to be delivering those products because that's the relationship that you have, and it's another time to connect with them and build even more of a relationship. You personally have to be showing up to your home parties because you're the consultant, right? You personally have to take a shower, comb your hair, put your makeup on, get dressed, all those type of things. So that is time that needs to be factored into your day. Now, a lot of us take that for granted, but we don't realize that even an extra 5 minutes of putting on your makeup needs to be factored in. Because if we don't do that, that's 5 minutes that we think we have, that we think we're going to have later, but we don't, for our business or our family. So breaking it down step by step, hour by hour of what needs to happen. What time are you waking up every day? Do you have a time that you wake up every day? Or is it you just go, I didn't get to bed till later, so I'm just going to wake up when the kids wake me up? Ask yourself, is that a smart idea? Just wait every day until you just happen to wake up? Doing that is going to create chaos. Now, why? Because everybody needs a system. When you had your first child, whether you have one or not, I don't know, but when you have a baby, you have to put them on a sleeping system, a schedule. Now, a lot of us think that's not important as time goes by, but it absolutely is. Your body needs to know when it's going to get its rest and when it's going to be actively moving. So figuring out just how many hours your personal body needs is also a task itself. Pay attention to when you wake up. How many hours did you sleep? Do you feel refreshed and ready to go? Did you sleep one less hour than you did last night, but for some reason that extra hour made you feel exhausted? Some people don't need 8 hours of sleep, the old cliche of, everybody needs 8 hours sleep. Some people only need 7. Some people only need 5. I actually work the most effectively, I've noticed, when I only have 4, and then I just need like a nap during the day. Sounds crazy, right? But I feel the best when I have less sleep. That's just the type of person that I am. But it took me a long time to find out that I need that. Ellie, I'm doing the training. What? Okay. You could take it. Shut the door, please. I needed to figure that out. I needed to measure how much time did I sleep in order to make myself feel good. Now, once you know how much that is, you can designately say, okay, I need to be in bed by 10 o'clock, and I need to make sure I wake up by this time. Now, adding an extra couple hours before you normally got up, what does that do for you? It gives you more time before the kids get up, before you've got to start getting ready for work, all that kind of stuff. It gives you the blessing of time by not saying, oh, I don't have to get up till 9 o'clock, so I'm not going to get up till 9 o'clock. That is not the way you're going to get things done in life, by sleeping it away. Any successful entrepreneur, business owner, successful person, period, will tell you they didn't get there by sleeping. Absolutely not. Now, yes, your rest is very important. That's why it's important for you to figure out and do an actual study, study yourself. Figure out, what does your personal body need? When you figure that out and you can come to the grips that, wow, I really only need 6 hours, but I really like to sleep. Yeah, we all like to do a lot of things. But as a business owner, a parent, an adult, we've got responsibilities. And with only 24 hours to work with, unfortunately, we're not able to sleep our life away, or else nothing will get done, and nothing will be productive, and you're not going to go and have the things that you want out of life. That's just a fact. So get over that whole concept. Stop being lazy. Stop making excuses, and just realize that there are certain things that need to be done in your day with your personal life and your business. And sleeping your life away is not going to get it there. Okay? So that's done. So delegate the things that don't need to be done by you to people that can do them effectively. Now, in a Scentsy family business, there's a lot of tedious work that has to be done. I'm not going to lie to you. Labeling everything, which you've heard me say a million times, everything that walks out the door needs to be labeled. That can take time. I am not going to lie. But once you get a system that when things come in your home, you get a Scentsy family order delivered for supplies, you get product, make it a system that when that box comes through the door, everything gets labeled. You know when that box is coming through the door, because if you go into your Orders tab and you click View, you're going to see a tracking number. And the tracking number is going to say, delivered by end of day on Wednesday. Now, once you start your business going, you're going to see that Steve, the UPS guy, shows up at 2 o'clock every day, or within that time frame. So you know that's when he's going to be delivering. So you can plan into your Wednesday of when those labeling are going to be done. Because if you stick it in the corner and just say, oh, when I get to it, a couple things happen. One, a day goes by, two days go by, and your 5-day requirement of delivering those products is going to come by pretty fast. Day 5 comes around, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I got to deliver all this stuff. Now you have to coordinate all these deliveries with all your people. And what if they can't see you until 2 days later? Now you are against policy delivering those products, which creates stress, right? Because you're doing something wrong. But is that anybody's fault but yours? Nope. So it's very important to know when your products are coming in. Schedule time, okay, I'm not going to be able to do it that night, but, I can start packaging this day, finish up on this day. Once it's finished, I can call my people, coordinate, and then I still have 2 full days to try to coordinate delivery. Now, and that's just saying if you have a full-time job. If this is your business and this is all you do, you have no excuse then to coordinate delivery well within that 5 days, well before. I mean, if you don't have a full-time job, you should be focusing on getting everything, start deliveries by this day, and so everything's done by the 5th day. Because again, that's making excuses, and if you don't have 8 hours taking up your time towards another business, what are you applying your business towards? It's just a fact, okay? So the labeling, that's something your husband can do, your kids can do, your family member that likes to help, or you can ask somebody like a family member or a friend or a friend's child that likes to help. Maybe you'll, give them $5 every time they come over to help you label. I don't know. But there are things that you can delegate to other people. And the second you learn to let other people help you, I promise you life is so amazing. Because especially women, we tend to want to do everything ourselves and take on the world and, I'll clean, I'll cook, I'll run my business, I'll shop, I'll do all this stuff. But why should the load of the world be on all of you? It doesn't make sense. When you get married, it's a partnership, right? So if you're not asking your spouse to assist you in running your family life, that's your fault. So now that you have your own business that you're trying to build for your family to have financial freedom later in time, or extra income that you're able to go on that vacation once a year now, or now you have plenty of money for the holidays to shop, they need to help you with that process. But the one thing that you need to do is ask. You need to ask and let them know that you do need help because they are not mind readers. I have to tell you that in the beginning of my business, I just thought Mitch knew that I needed help with the dishes, and I just thought he'd figure out that it would be a big help if he could do the baths for the kids for a while for me. Until I realized, well, I've never even said anything to him. He's sitting watching TV. Meanwhile, I'm freaking out inside. Gosh, the kids need a bath, and he's just sitting there. That was my fault. That was my fault for not saying, babe, I need your help. As soon as I asked him, he was like, okay, I'll do that. Now, for the past 2.5 years, that is a part of our life. Mitch shops for our grocery shopping. He does the baths and gets them ready for bed. And then he knows that once all that's done, I'm able to go and tuck them in goodnight or read them a book. Now, it's gotten better. I do baths now, and we trade off. But in the beginning of my business, I didn't do those things because those are things that I didn't have to be doing. I had to focus on building our business. Okay. So delegate anything and everything that you can to other people that are willing to do, okay? Now that we know the 4 Ds, you need to make sure that you are thinking about those 4 Ds with everything you do, even your personal life. Now, deleting. I like to mop my floor twice a day or even every day. Get over it. Your floor is still going to be clean tomorrow, okay? Or if this is something that that has to be done, delegate it. Babe, sorry, this is something that has to be done. I need you to mop the floor for me every day because I can't do that now because that 20 minutes I could be putting towards our business. Delaying things that don't need to be done right now, and stop trying to focus on things that you like to do and focus on things that are a priority. Okay, prioritize what is time sensitive. Does this need to happen today? Do I need to be delivering this basket today and I haven't even prepared to put my basket party together? Meanwhile, I'm on Facebook? Does that make sense? No. You're creating your own chaos. Okay? So you need to learn to discipline yourself and figure out by writing it down what needs to happen today. What do I need to put my focus on today? And what's going to make my life easier tomorrow? And what can be delayed to the next day? And then delegating or diminishing those things, basically. Diminishing your priorities, get them done so they're out of the way, check them off on your list. I can't tell you how fantastic that feels when you have a list and you're able to go down and check it off or cross it off. You feel so accomplished. And I promise you, when you have a power hour, when you say, I am going to do this, 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 and this in this hour, it's like a challenge. It's like, ooh, I have an hour to do all this. I'm going to get it done. And then when you get it done, you're going to be able to pat yourself on the back because nobody else got it done but you. You feel accomplished. Feeling accomplished is the most best, amazing thing in the world. You feel like you've done something. You've made an impact. It's so amazing. And then the last one is the delegate, like I said. So delegating so you can delete the things out of your life that don't need to happen or that don't need to happen with you, and delay the things in order to diminish the other stuff. So delete, delay, diminish, and delegate. Now, this is the exciting part that I specifically just got passed on this information from Callie when I went on Monday, on Veterans Day. I spent the entire day with her. And I have to say that these are some things that I have done in the past, but I got away from. And the second I got away from it, I felt like I didn't know what was happening. So I am so happy I did that. I went and did a reminder course for myself, and I learned some things that I didn't think to do that really does help, that I want you all to start implementing now while it's so attainable. And as your business grows, you're going to be able to keep up with it no matter how busy you are and how many people on your team, how many parties you have, how many customers you're following up with. It's going to keep you organized so you're just day by day knocking things out and you know exactly what needs to happen. Think about this. It's very likely most of you have had a full-time job at one point in your life, whether you're a stay-at-home mom right now or you are doing Scentsy full-time. At one point, you worked for somebody else. I mean, the majority of you at least. And there were tasks that you knew need to happen every day, every week, and every month. Like every day, I have to check the emails to see, what came in. Every day, I have to take the voicemail answering machine off because I'm going to be answering the calls now. Every day, I have to log yesterday's production or whatever. These are just examples, whatever you've done. But every business, no matter what it is, has a daily task that you know you do every day. And then there's always something that you know that happens every week. Like at the end of the week, this is what I do. I take the trash out. I dust off the shelves. I, file anything that's been that hasn't been filed. So by Monday morning, I walk in and everything is ready to go. Right? There's always something that you do systematically. And then monthly things, you may say like, okay, I close out monthly reports. I generate, I pull reports from my manager, or maybe you're the manager and you do those reports. Whatever. Think about the things that you did daily, weekly, and monthly in your business that you worked for somebody else or you work for somebody else. It's the same process in your own business. How do you think any business runs? Systems, right? Daily, weekly, and monthly systems. This is something I'm going to actually attach to the email of this link, so you should have them. You'll be able to pull this up as I'm looking. So if you're building a Scentsy family business, which I'm going to that's how I'm going to do this training. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't trying to build your business. If this is just a hobby to you, it's very likely you wouldn't spend an hour with me today or an hour and a half. Daily things that need to happen. Now, what do we need to do in our business to grow it? We need to sell, we need to host or get hostesses, book parties, and we need to sponsor, right? But once you've got all those three things down, there are things you have to keep those up consistently, but also you have to, once you become a sponsor, you have responsibilities to your team. So there are things that need to happen for your team consistently. Now, this is how she has it broken down into daily. This is what her assistant actually does for her, which now I have an assistant, which I'm going to pass on most of these tasks to, but she isn't here every day. She's only here once a week. So I'm going to narrow down what she could do for me basically every day that she's here, and which would be weekly as well. And then I'm going to take over the things that need to be done daily. Now, the first one is packets. Now, that can apply to hostess packets, join packets, and welcome packets, okay? Now, we always want to be giving every single person that walks through our world, crosses our path, the knowledge of what they can do with your business. They could either buy from you an amazing product, they can host and get free and half-off items, or they can join your team and get products, get it free and half off, and get commission, as well as this extra thing of giving other people the opportunity to bless their lives. So you have to have these packets prepared at all times because this business is, you never know what's going to happen. You can be shopping at Walmart and start a conversation up with somebody. Before you know it, you either have somebody buying, you have somebody booking a party, or you have somebody interested in joining your team. Or you go home and you look at your workstation and they joined your team. So are you prepared for that? Ask yourself, are you prepared? If somebody joined your team right now, do you have a welcome packet ready to go for them? Or are you going to have to start scrambling to say, oh, my God, okay, what do I need to get for them? What do I need to show them? What do I need to hand to them? I have to tell you, I used to be that person because I didn't realize that is going to happen all the time. You always think, oh, that's not really going to happen, or, if it happens, I'll have time to prepare. No. I promise you, the busier your business gets as it grows, you need to have these things done so you can not drive yourself crazy, not drive your family crazy, and give the team members the tools they need immediately. Because you know what? You're holding your team member back from being successful because you're not prepared. That's not fair to them. Now, there are some sponsors out there that don't do any of this. But do you want to be a good sponsor or just a sponsor? You want to be a good sponsor, right? You want to be the person that maybe you didn't have. Maybe your sponsor doesn't help you with anything. Maybe your sponsor didn't give you any tools. They just said, oh, it's in your startup guide. Check it out. It absolutely is, 100%. But don't you want to be that sponsor that somebody says, you know what, your support really made a difference, and I was ready to quit, but because you were there for me and you were my biggest cheerleader, I stuck it through. Don't you want to be that person? Only you can decide that. You're the only one that knows what type of sponsor you're going to be and that you want to be. But I'm here to tell you, it is such an amazing blessing to care about your team members because you know what the biggest surprise is? They end up caring about you. They end up caring about your success and your happiness, and then they want to do things to help you. They want to be successful so you can be successful. They want to ask you how you're doing when all you're doing is helping other people. All of a sudden, you get cards in the mail and messages and emails and phone calls for no reason, just to say, you know what, thank you for being you. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping us all. That is the biggest blessing of all, just knowing that people realize what you're doing. Okay, let's get back to packets. Hostess packets. You never know when somebody's going to say, hey, I want to host a party in 3 days. My first party that I ever had that got booked off my launch party, my hostess literally was there. I didn't even know her. Somebody brought her to the party, so somebody might bring a random stranger to your party or a party that somebody else is hosting that you don't even know them. They might blow you out of the water and be like, yeah, let's do this in 3 days. Let's do this, on Tuesday. That's what she did to me. My party was on Friday. She wanted on Tuesday. I was like, okay. Okay, I'll try to prepare by then. So it's so important to be prepared for somebody to throw something at you like that. So you can say, oh, absolutely, I have a packet in my car. Or I have a packet right here at my party, ready to give you. So let me call you tomorrow and we will walk you through this. Or if they have time, hey, let me close up all these orders. Let me get everybody out of here. And then you and I, as long as your host isn't mind, we stick around for 15 minutes. I can go through the packet with you already. And then I'll give you a call in a few days to kind of go through the next step. It's all about preparation. Now, if you guys haven't watched my YouTube video on home parties, which I did for Spring Sprint, and you didn't catch that I said it's all about preparation, it's very true. It's huge. We have to be prepared for our people to host. We have to be prepared for our people to buy. And we have to be prepared for people to join our team, as well as them to be interested in joining our team. So whatever they are interested in doing, you have to be prepared and have a packet ready. So that's why daily you should make sure that you have a certain amount of packets ready to go. I would say always have 5 on hand at all times. Always have a drawer or a shelf or something that you have your join packets, welcome packets ready to go, hostess packets, and then, of course, in your car, in your little mobile office, in like your little bin that you have everything you need in order for them to purchase products from you, no matter where you are. If you're in Starbucks buying coffee and they say, oh, my God, you you're a consultant. Can I place an order? I know exactly what I need. Absolutely. I have order forms, I have a catalog, and I even have some scents for you to smell. Just like you are a mobile office. You are your own mobile business. So it's very important for you to have that. And then all of a sudden the conversation turns into, you know what, but I haven't had a party in a while. I'd like to host a party. Is that okay? Absolutely. Let me go to my join file, grab you a join, and host and join brochure. Here's this. And then you know what? I have a hostess packet right here for you. Let me check this out that I know that I'm giving you this. And I will. If you're like at Starbucks, obviously, do you have 10 minutes? I can go through this with you. I'm actually on the run. Okay, here, go ahead and fill this information out for me. I'm actually going to enter you in a drawing. You might win something free, at the end of the month because I do a monthly drawing. But then just mark that you want a home party or a basket party for me, and then all of your information. I'm going to call you, and I'm going to walk you through this hostess packet. Sound good? Simple, right? You're prepared. And then you go on with your day. They go on with your day, and you made your life so much more simple because you were prepared and they already have their packet. Now, the next one is postcards. Now, these are something you want to try to do daily, like thank you cards, thank you postcards, welcome to my team postcards. These are things that you want to be sending off, and you just look through your workstation. Did somebody join? What am I want to send them off a welcome to my team card. Or thank you for buying on my online party. So today I'm going to look up everybody that ordered online yesterday, and I'm going to write them a thank you card. When am I going to do this? Am I going to do this as soon as I walk into my office or as soon as I start my Scentsy time of my day? Am I going to do that at the end? You have to figure that out. What is more important? So how to make a decision is does it have a time-sensitive stamp on it? Now, somebody joined your team, then you need to get it out by tomorrow, right? So you want to get these filled out, stamped, and ready to go to put in the slot so it's sent out the next day. So that's more of a time-sensitive thing. So you want to do that first before you make packets. Does that make sense? So always think to myself, does this have a time-sensitive situation or, factor to it? That'll decide what needs to happen first in your day. Weekly. Now, this is something you want to do. Decide that you do it on Mondays at the beginning of your week so it's just done. Or, you have to decide in your day because everybody has different schedules. Some people work full-time. Some people have to drive their kid to the babysitter. You know what your schedule is, which is important to know. So you have to factor those times in. Like I said, from this time to this time I drive, Mason to school. Then I drive Allie to daycare from this time to this time. So then by the time I get home, I can start in my office at 8:30. That's my specific schedule. Okay, so I know that I'm not going to be starting on birthday mailings until, then. Now, I personally decided to do that via email because the size of the team that we have, there's like so many people's birthdays at one time that I will do that on their birthday. And I just decided to implement this now. I've had so many different things that I've done throughout the 2.5 years. I've tried to keep on it, but nothing ever stayed consistent. So I decided to narrow it down, and Callie actually shared this with me. So you guys, it's your business. You're going to decide what you want to do. I personally would love to write a personal card to everybody, but it's not possible anymore because I have so many other things that are more priority. Not that I don't care, not that the time isn't worth spending on writing a note to you, but that's something that I would rather just make sure that you know that I know it's your birthday and that I'm wishing you one, and then spend more time on writing out thank you cards for my customers that I haven't established a relationship with yet, or writing an actual certificate of achievement for all of you when you achieve your goals, or writing you a letter because I haven't talked to you in a while, so I can spend my time more on that, if that makes sense. But those are all choices you're going to make. But remember this one thing, that a lot of you've already heard me say before. But some of you've never heard this concept. When I promoted to director, after 4 months, I was really like, oh, my God, what do I do? I spoke to Jen Audette. She's a superstar director under Becca Levi. She said to me, and I didn't understand it, but hopefully if you get this in your mind and let it register now, you won't have the chaos that I did. Everything you do now, make sure that you can do it and keep up with that same task when you have hundreds of customers, tons of hostesses, and hundreds or thousands of consultants on your team. Is that a task that you can do? Can you write out a birthday card for 200 people a month? Probably not, right? So those are things that you want to try to think about. You know, shooting off a cute little happy birthday email is something you absolutely can do because you can just punch in everybody's emails. Now, the nice thing is when you have a workstation, you can cut and paste into Excel, which is I do. So the workstation does it for me, and I just put it into my constant contact email. And I make my email, and it's already done. It's a template. But everybody knows that I know it's their birthday. So making extra packets for the week. So this is something you want to do weekly. So you may know that you have a party coming up. So this is when you should do weekly, that just making sure you are prepared for your packets that need to be required. So you want to set a goal when you go to a home party of how many people you're going to book, how many people you're going to offer the opportunity to. So you want to make up that many packets. So if you go to a show with the goal of booking 4 parties, but you only bring 3 packets, does that make sense? No. So I would always do 1 extra one just in case you get, you get 5 people instead of 4. Always do be over-prepared than under-prepared. Same thing with how many people you're going to offer the opportunity to. If you go with 1 join packet, but you're talking to 3 different people about joining because they scored really high on your recruiting superstar game or rock star, you're going to be empty-handed, right? Oh, well, you'd be great at this, and I'm glad you're interested, but I don't have anything for you. Let me get back to you. Doesn't really sound too good, right? Okay. All right, moving on. We're already at our hour mark. Okay, return mail. Now, this is something as you start to build a team or even as you send your thank you cards out, this is something that needs to happen. And I will tell you, this is something that I'm just now implementing. It's horrible on systematically. I mean, I've always done it, but always like, I'll get to that when I get to that. But this can really this can hurt your business as far as orders, future parties, even, connection with your consultants. When you get returned mail, make sure you implement in your week a day that you go through it and go to your workstation and see if match up the addresses. Oh my gosh, I forgot to put the apartment number. So it's accurate, it's fine. Okay, let me get this out again. What if that address is different? If it's the exact same one, that's when you get to call that person and say, "Hi, Susie, it's been a while. I actually sent you. How are you doing?" First of all, listen to them. Oh, I'm fine. Okay. Well, the reason why I'm calling you today is because I sent you out a reminder card that it's time for you to get some more fragrances or some of that Layers products, and I got it returned. Did you happen to move? Actually, I did. Oh, my gosh. Of course. That's why I got it returned. Can I please have your updated address? And so I can put it into my workstation, edit my contacts. Remember, you can go in and edit it, the profile of that contact, update your workstation, save it, and then while you're on the phone, by the way, Susie, do you need anything? Because just so you know, I have like 4 new scents that you haven't smelled since the last time you've ordered, and then it is probably around that time, right? So what can I do? Do you have a catalog on you? Do you want me to mail you one? Do you want me to come by and let you smell the scents? Obviously you want to stop and let them answer, but these are the things you want to be asking. Do you want me to come by and bring the fragrances over so you can smell? Do you have a catalog? Have you been on my website in a while? How are you doing with your fragrances? What's going on? They're going to tell you, oh, yeah, well, there's like 3 that I don't like, so I have been out, but I've been blah, 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 blah. And you may end up saying, but yeah, actually, let me go ahead and place an order. And then there is an opportunity to get orders just because you got return mail. And now you are updated and aware of what's going on with your customers. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. You would never know, right? Okay, so then on a weekly basis with your teams, you want to have a system of when you're going to do some type of an incentive. So for me, even though Becca Levi does her own weekly Saturday call drawing, I do one myself as well, because to me, I want to reward you guys for being proactive and involved, and I want to learn about what you guys are learning so I know what's going on with you guys, because it's a way for me to kind of see what what light bulbs are going off on these calls. So when we do talk, I can say, oh my gosh, I noticed how you really, it really helped you with the fact that, dropping a sample everywhere you go is planting a seed. That that kind of went off on this specific call. So are you doing that? Have you started that? It's a way for me to ask questions. So it's an extra tool for me, but it's also an extra way to reward you. And then, but I know that I'm going to do that every Saturday, and then I'm also going to start doing Mondays, because that's my Monday call. And I want to reward you guys for interacting with your team, your personal group. I may be implementing a weekly or just one Thursday of a month, the one that I'm on, because I'm the one that trains on the third Thursday of every month. So I'm going to, want to see who is on actually live, other than the people that I know that actually ask questions. So let's go back really fast. Daily, our packets, any type of postcards or thank you cards. So you keep up with them, because if you have to write out 20 by the end of the month, it's going to be harder. So you could say, okay, well, nobody ordered yesterday, somebody ordered today, so I can do one, or I could do two, but it kind of keeps you going. Weekly that needs to be done, birthday mailing or emails, extra packets, return mail, and call or some type of call incentives. Now, something I want you to add to your daily task is your numbers. Writing down your daily numbers, knowing that on Friday my PRV was this, my team wholesale volume was this, my group wholesale volume is this. Until you have a director, they'll be the same. Team wholesale volume and group wholesale volume was exactly the same number, but it's important to write these down, how many new recruits I had, and those. Then you'll be able to measure, last year at this time of the month, halfway through the month, my team was here. Because all we see is what the end of the month result was. So we can kind of see, oh, wow, our team is ahead of the game this month. Last year at this time of the month, we were like down, $10,000, compared to where we are now. That's amazing. So that actually was recommended on our last Saturday call, not the 16th, but the one before that, by Becca Levi. And it's funny because I've heard the concept. I thought it was great, but never implemented. But for some reason, it hit me hard when she talked about it this past Saturday. So I realized how important it is, especially now that I have a director on my team. Those numbers are different now. So I'm like, oh gosh, are those different? Is she, and it's easier to be at a glance instead of having to pull a report, look at all of the different things, so this way you can actually know where you were the next day and how much volume your group and your team made in one day. That's exciting to see. Like, oh my gosh, we were at, let's say, for instance, $10,200 yesterday. Now we're at $12,000. Like, our team sold over, $1,000 plus in one day, $1,800. Holy cow. That is awesome. And then you're able to maybe go on Facebook and say, do you guys realize what you've done in one day, and make all of you feel good about it. So, and then make sure that you go through on your Facebook group page and add, if you have your own personal group page, which I hope you do if you're a leader, and make sure you add everybody that wants to be added to your group page. And then you want to also go through daily all your emails that, so you can kind of filter them out. Okay, this person entered my drawing into a drawing file, a Saturday drawing file. This person entered my Monday drawing file. This person needs me to answer this question. So there's got to be an email designated time that you go through every day. At 8:30 in the morning when I walk in my office, this is what I do. I start with my emails. Then I answer my Facebook messages. Then I, spend 20 minutes on Facebook just looking at questions, knocking them out. But that's it. No, I'm going to play Candy Crush. That is a delete. That should be a delete in your life. I'm sorry. I know that you think that that's the way that relaxes you, this and that, all those, I'm going to say, excuses. But that is not money-making activity. That is a waste of time and energy. And that's just a fact. There is not one successful business owner that plays Candy Crush. I'm sorry to tell you. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm not here to train you to be unsuccessful, okay? So stick to your tasks. I'm answering messages, I'm reading questions, and I'm making posts, thoughts of the day, tips of the day, inspirational thoughts, whatever, but this is what I'm doing. Now, you guys may say, well, Jess, you're posting all the time. I absolutely am, because when I have a thought, I want you guys to know it, and I do it through my phone. When I'm doing other money-making activities, I'll be driving, and I'm on voice text, so that's why sometimes the interaction is a little, the verbiage is wrong, but I'm telling you what's on my mind because I want you guys to know about it because it's an important factor. But I'm getting it out there, and so it's out of sight, out of mind after, and I don't think it's not a task that I have to worry about later, okay? Now, you guys may choose not to do that. You may choose to write it down and say, I need to post about this later on. That's your choice. That's my specific system that I do, okay? Okay. Other tasks, let's see, that weekly should happen is any type of reminder emails that you might do for your team. That's what I do. I have the constant contact. So every week I'm going to know that on Sunday, which is today, I'm going to send out my reminder Monday call email. I'm going to schedule it. But the reason why I don't have it scheduled beforehand is because I want as many people that joined our team to get that email. And so if I do it before today, it's more likely more people will not get that email because they joined today or, whenever. So at least it narrows it down. Now, just to let all of you know on the team that if you do have a team member that joins on a Monday, please make sure you forward them the Monday call information because they're not going to get the email, okay? So because everything's mailed out Sunday, anybody that joins on Sunday. And it might even be Sunday night and they join at, 11:59 p.m. or something, and I sent it out at, well, that just makes me think about that. I should probably have it sent out on Monday mornings, like at midnight. So, everybody on Sunday that joins does get it. And then the only people that don't get it is on Mondays. So those are the people that you need to make sure. So that's my new thing. I'm going to do that. Anyways. So I'm going to do all emails to be scheduled to be sent out at midnight on Mondays. And then anybody that joins on Mondays has to be reminded or forwarded that email, just so you know, as a sponsor. Okay? Thank you. On a monthly basis, sorry, just reading my notes here. On a monthly basis, there's things that need to happen. Recognition for your team. There should be something, no matter what your budget is, there should be some way that you're recognizing your team's accomplishments. And, yes, I absolutely do that as the director of my team, and other directors do it their own way. But they need to know that they are being recognized from you, their future director. So because if all they see is me recognizing them and they only see my name, but if all of a sudden they get a recognition certificate in the mail or a card or a phone call, something from you, when you become their director, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, she's just doing what she always does, and they're going to recognize you as their leader. They're not just going to be like, who's this chick? All of a sudden her name's up on my workstation as my director. So do the things that directors do now, so when it happens, it's just falling into place, and you just have the official title, such as recognizing your team. So whether you have one person on your team or 25, that you should be recognizing your team's accomplishments. If somebody is active, if they are over 500, if they sold over 1,000, 2,000, if they promoted, if maybe they shared a goal with you and you know that they shared with you that they achieved it, absolutely recognize that. Because the more people that they're being recognized from, the more it's confidence they're going to be built, which is going to keep them going and wanting to stay in this company and to continue to build their business. So just me is not enough. They want the person that actually brought them into the company to recognize them, not just some random person that they don't even know. So, because one thing I will tell you this concept, if they don't know their director personally on a personal level, never met them, when they get recognized by that person, they think, oh, it's just because, this is all that it's just because I actually promoted. And so they have this unfortunate, sad thought sometimes that, oh, it's just because she's making money off me, which is sad that they don't realize that we do this because we care, hopefully, what you guys do. Yeah, the money is fantastic, but the bigger goal should be the generosity of helping other people achieve their goals. So, and I will tell you that is a huge factor in your success. If you're doing all of these tasks for you and you only with the intent of to grow and to promote and make more money just for your purpose, and that's it, 100% you are not going to get there as fast as you would if you were, and you may not even get there because people know that. People know if you're out there for you. So my suggestion, is to look at all of these tasks that you're doing is to help another person. How are you doing that? You're training them to have an organized business by watching you. So then they are going to enjoy their business and they are going to be successful. And you're also helping them in any way that you can by recognizing them, by giving them opportunities to learn, by, again, leading by example, which is the biggest gift of all, because we really can't do much but focus on what we can do. That's really the biggest key here, which it took me a long time to realize. I didn't know that I didn't have control over what other people are doing. I thought, oh, well, if I try to help them, but people need to want to help themselves. So the only thing that we can do as leaders is do these things and conduct our lives a certain way and our businesses. So when people are watching us do them, they're learning effective ways to run their business and good ways to run their business and their lives. All right, so let me just make sure. That I got everything here. Okay. There's even things as far as a system that you should be creating with your daily tasks as far as what you do when you're out and about. I talked about this a little bit on a Monday call a couple weeks ago, but as far as where are you going to put your receipts when you purchase something? Are you just going to throw them in your wallet? Or are you going to have a bank bag that you put everything in? Or are you going to purchase a little filing system so you can have this, you could put, dollar store, Target, Walmart, you know where they're all at. And then at the end of the week, you take this little bad boy and you go and you enter them into a spreadsheet for your tax write-offs. And then transfer all these receipts into a manila folder. You can even go as far as scanning them into like a Neat scanner. It's called Neat, if you've never heard of it. Just go to neat.com. And then you don't have to keep the paper trail, or you can just for like hard copy records, but then you have two separate ways to show your tax preparer if you ever got audited. Because paper receipts, the ink tends to wear off. So at least you have an extra backup. But this is a system that has to be implemented because if you throw your receipt here and you throw a receipt there, things are going to get lost and forgotten. Also, where am I going to put my order forms when I'm out and about? When I go to pick up an order from Cindy Sue at her house, and then I got one at Starbucks, and then I got one at this person's house, then I picked one up at, wherever, all these order forms, where are they going to be put? I would suggest to get a bank bag and just make sure that everything goes into this, because there's credit card information on there. They're probably, if they pay you with credit card or cash, it's all in there. And then just have a system that when you get home every day, you transfer these order forms to a, where's my file? Where did it go? I have a to be processed file, which now I was cleaning out my stuff yesterday, and I don't know what I did with it. Anyways, I'm going to have to make a new one. I get like a manila folder like this, and it says to be processed. So then I transfer my order forms that need to be processed if I'm waiting for it to like become qualified or something, and I put it in here. So then I know that that still hasn't been done. Then I have a file that is, which I'm going to make more nicer eventually, but to be received. So this is a party that I just closed, so I know that these are orders that need to be received. And then I have basket party open. This is like, my checkout form that I give when I give a basket party. And so I have all their information and everything, so I know where my baskets are at. And then I will transfer it on my whiteboard back here, so I know that Cindy Sue has a basket party, and then I put the date that it's supposed to be coming back. And then I transfer it to my calendar, so I know that that date is when I'm supposed to be picking up my my basket. And also a couple days in middle of that week that they have the basket party out, make sure you put a reminder in your calendar to call and follow up with that person to see if they have any questions or anything that's they need to talk to you about. These are to be delivered. This is another file I have, to be delivered. So meaning it's an order form that you haven't delivered yet because maybe they can't see you for another couple days or whatever reason. You have the product still in your possession, so you don't forget. Because the busier you get, you think that, I'll remember that order's sitting there. I will tell you that sometimes you forget. So if you don't have a system of knowing, looking at this to be delivered file on a regular basis, on a daily basis, days will go by and that order's sitting over on your counter and you've seen it 20 times, but you forget. Okay? Open parties. This is where I keep my my hostess gives me a list of that I need to be sending out invitations for. So I just know this is like parties that are kind of going on right now. For home parties, say that I had my party on Friday and I'm keeping it open for the 5 days for their max because they want to get extra orders. Now, I just recently implemented I put a file in one of these and I put the hostess's name on it. So I have everything in there that has to do with that hostess. So I will put that inside of my open party. So because I have a few parties going on at one time, so I can just grab, this is Stacy's file, this is Heather's file, this is whoever's file, but it's all in one spot. Okay. Now we are over an hour. We're almost going on to the hour and a half mark. This is the last thing that I'm going to talk about, or these two last things. Very important. First, this is a system that I actually am going to put on our group page. You guys can all download. You guys can make these up yourselves, but they're already done, so why waste the time? But this is postage sheet, so you can know and track how much a catalog weighs and how much you spent on it. And so you always know. So eventually you can have always have enough stamps in your office that if somebody says, hey, can you send me a catalog, you're not like, oh gosh, now I have to go to the post office. You can literally just know that it costs this much to send a catalog. I can put the stamps on and I can get it out in the mail. Because I have to tell you, a lot of my sending out catalogs when people want them get delayed because I was always like, I don't know how much it costs, and I never tracked it. Even though I've sent a million out, I never paid attention to how much it cost me, that I always have to go to the post office for them to weigh it. So then those catalogs go days without being sent, and I'm missing business. This one here actually you can track how many stamps you're spending every week. So you could say, okay, I spent $3 stamps this week, and then you kind of know how much you're spending a week in postage. Here's another sheet. Let's see. This is for other. This is just an extra one. This is like any postage that's extra, that doesn't have to do with mailing to, like catalogs or whatever. But you may want to use other as you could just change it to yourself or make it maybe like your incentives. You know how much you're spending in postage just for incentives, and that's it. Personal. This is one for you that you could have for your own personal mailings. This is for, you could see how much you're spending in recruiting packets if you send out recruiting packets. You can make a choice whether you do that or not. Postage for Scentsy, meaning like your product, your Scentsy family store. Tracking sheets. It's like not postage, sorry, your tracking sheet. You're tracking how much you're spending, a month on your supplies and stuff. Seasonal postage, this is like how much are you spending in holiday, like flyers, mailing out, Christmas cards that you send to your team, so you kind of have an unknown. And then, again, it's always so you can see and track what you're spending in your business, even each year. And here's the awards and advancements. So this is, I guess this one's already made up for you, so you know how much you're spending on postage for that. Birthdays, if you are going to mail out cards, how much you're spending on that. Cards and programs, and then you also know how much the postage is. So, card program. Now, this is if you decide to do that a card program, like for instance, Sincerely Sent. If you end up spending, you say I'm going to spend $28.50 a month on my Sincerely Sent, so I can send them all out for my hostesses or people that are interested in joining, things like that. Newsletter, you can keep track of when your newsletters are sent out and when. Welcome packets. Now, I will tell you for my personal, I never sent out welcome packets to my frontline that, because of the cost. Now, I built my business up that I'm now at the point that I'm going to start sending something physical to them. Everything has always been virtual. But to me, now that I can afford it, I look at it as, it's not fair to my out-of-state frontline that joins, that gets all that stuff. So in basically hard copy version. So I would suggest to all of you to decide whether you're going to do that for your frontline. Now remember, training your frontline and focusing on your frontline is going to help them train their frontline, which means it's going to go down the line and everybody's going to be taken care of. So there's no way that we can, send out welcome packets to, I'm not going to say there's no way, but it takes a while to be able to afford all that. So those are decisions that you'll make later on in your business. But if you implement these type of things now, it's just going to be so much easier because you know exactly where everything is, and you can measure everything. You can measure how much am I spending in, incentives. Is it worth it? Or am I getting the response that I would like? Although I would tell you that even if you don't get the response, incentives are definitely worth it. But again, it's your business, so you're going to decide if you can afford it or if you want to spend the money on it. So I just lost my train of thought. Oh no, I had one more thing I wanted to talk to before I signed off. Oh goodness. There's just so much. It's really hard to, like I said, this is stuff that Callie and I talked to, went over for over a 5-hour period, and I'm trying to cram this in like an hour and a half. I may have to do another one another day, but this is going to get you guys started. This right here I'm going to attach as well. This is something that somebody created for me, and it's a lot of the same ideas, some in different ways. So you could kind of look at this and see what works for you. There's 10 tips to be a time management superstar. 1, make list of things to get done. We talked about that. Prioritize the list. Plan your day, week, month. Enlist everyone in the planning, meaning like make sure that you have your whole family should know what you need to be doing. It's not fair to your family that they don't know when you're doing things or how long you need to be putting the time into it. So it's very important to communicate with your family that, from this time to this time, this is what I need to be doing, so they understand. And so another thing, when you have small children, so they don't disturb you. Now, as you can see, she still walks in and asks me for things, and so I can't control that. But my kids know Saturday mornings I do a training call. Monday nights I do a training call. So you're training them to understand that it's something that needs to happen, and so they don't feel like you're just closing yourself away in an office for no reason. Number 5 is learn to say no. I told you, if it's not going to benefit your business and your family, it's just know in your heart that you would if you could, and that should be enough. And if they don't believe that, then you know what, they don't know you well enough, okay, because they would know that you are a caring person, that you have to focus on your family and your goals. Number 7, don't do other people's work. 8, don't be a perfectionist. 9, know when you need help. Your time is worth it. And 10, discern from importance and emergency. So as a team leader, answering a text message or even a voicemail or a live call, it's very important to be able to determine whether it's an emergency or if it can wait. Because if it's going to stop you from staying on task with your business and your family, it's eventually going to affect your life. And so you have to be able to determine whether their text message can wait or not. Because most likely your team members are going to be asking questions that they can find if they look in the resources tab, if they did log on to a training call, or if they open up their startup guide. So you'll be able to determine whether those are those things. Now, if they're texting you saying, I have somebody, it's Saturday, consultant support's closed, and I have somebody joining right now, and I'm having an issue getting them joined. That is a time-sensitive, I would say, emergency. Not emergency, but, something that if you're able to answer that call, I would definitely do that and respond to them. But the nice thing is, if somebody's interested in joining, they're not going to not join just because it takes, 30 minutes for you to get back to them. So just think about that. When I first joined, I was so like, oh, my God, I have to do everything right now. But it stressed me out. It stressed everybody else out. And it didn't make anything more effective at all. I have to tell you that. It just made everybody stressed out. So be able to determine whether things are time sensitive or if it can wait for your team and for yourself. I used to, whenever I saw heard my text message go off, I used to freak out. Oh, God, I got to go grab my phone. It's most likely that there is no wax or styling or chocolate emergency that they are going to, Alyssa? Ouch. Thank you. I'm almost done. There's no emergency that is that time sensitive that they are not going to be able to be assisted when you are able to assist them. But as a team leader, you do have to determine whether you're just, I'm filing my nails right now, or I'm in the middle of watching TV. Is that more important than assisting your team? No. So, again, you can't be selfish in this business. You have to be selfless. And remember that you have to represent the core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity, and also implement them into your business, because I will tell you, when I'm not implementing those things, that's when I am the most chaotic in my business. So when you're stressed out and you don't know what to do and you can't get a hold of your sponsor or myself, think of these 3 things. Am I representing generosity, authenticity, and simplicity? Because most likely you're not representing simplicity when you're stressed out in this business. I will tell you that. That is a huge lesson that I've learned. Okay, so what have we learned? To implement the 4 Ds: delegate, delete, diminish, and delay. So not necessarily in that order. Also, have a daily, weekly, and monthly to-do list that happens consistently. So you know that those were done, and track it. Now, one thing I did leave out, but I think hopefully you caught on, that there is a tracking system. So since we have a list right here of what needs to happen, on the other page, you mark off when you get it done. So this says, Monday, the date or whatever. You can say, I did this, 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 and this. So you know it happened. 1, for your own peace of mind. 2, for your teams. If they're like, Jess, I never got this, whatever, you're able to say, you know what, I sent it off on this date. So it's making sure that you're not getting people making you think that you're not doing what's supposed to happen. So, and also, as a director in the making, or you may be already a director, we do have an obligation to train our teams. So this is going to be and assist our teams and motivate our teams. So this is a record. So if anybody ever challenges your ethic of your directorship or leadership in your business and brings you to compliance or, account services, you're able to say, I sent training off on this date. I sent a happy birthday, so I recognize them if they tell me they've never heard from me on this date. I sent a recognition for their promotion on this date, and this is the address I sent it to. So then the company will be able to go back to them and say, well, so-and-so, I have several different instances that has been proven that they contacted you and have tried to contact you. So when you send an email, that is a log. So make sure you maybe want to put a log in your email file of, Senti team or whatever you want to break it down to be as detailed as possible. But then you could literally say, on this date, I sent this email. Or if you did a phone call, I would log that as well. So you can say, I tried calling this person on this date, this date, this date, and this date, and left a voicemail, and I've never received a phone call back. But then they're going to call compliance and say that or account services saying that you've never contacted them. So, and then you also have a record that you have training calls, that you're there every single week, and that you are doing everything possible to connect with these people, but they're choosing not to utilize what you give them. So remember, as the business grows, you do have to create systems in order to track what works as well as to track what you are doing for your business, for the company's purposes as well as your own sanity and your purposes. So I hope this helps for you guys. Remember, a to-do list is so important. Every single night, I recommend when you close your Scentsy business, family business doors, whatever time it is, whether you do it for an hour or you do it for 8 hours, when you're done for the night, the last thing that you should be doing is writing your to-do list for tomorrow and prioritizing. If you have to delay what you were supposed to do today until tomorrow, make sure that is at the top of your list to get it diminished so it is done and it's taken care of. And then you do go by prioritizing. But it always will be shifted to the next day if it's not a priority, for that day, and then eventually it's going to be diminished. Very, very important. And then just make sure that you look, what can I delegate to somebody? What on this list can be delegated? And then you take it off your to-do list and you give it to them. So I would create a to-do list for your family too. What needs to happen? So my son knows that every Sunday night and Wednesday night he needs to go and get all the trash cans and put them downstairs so we can dump the trash for the trash day the next day. That's his job. He's learning responsibility. He's also taken a task that I don't have to do so it gets done. And you're also making sure that, you're creating a system for your family, which is important because then they understand how important systems are. Lastly, make sure that you have your calendar and you fill it out. I would attach your calendar and your phone calendar together. Whatever you put in your phone while you're running about, I would, at the end of the day, transfer it to your hard calendar if you're a hard calendar kind of person so you can see everything like in a plain view. But I also really strongly remember to put every task in your calendar. Every task. A phone call, writing an email, whatever needs to happen needs to be in your calendar, or else I promise you it won't get done. It won't get done. It's an out of sight, out of mind, and a million things are going through your brain, and you're going to totally forget. I promise you. No matter how important it is. You think, oh, that's important. I'm going to make sure I get that done. Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you that as your business grows, it won't unless it's in your calendar. And make sure you have your reminder set, because you need to be reminded that these things are happening so you can prepare and stop what you're doing if you know that, oh, gosh, I got caught up in this. I have to be, across town to deliver this basket. So I take 40 minutes to get there, so I need to leave now, or I need to get myself ready to go in order to leave on the time that I need to go. And that is just a system that you need to implement. And eventually, that's just the way your business is going to run. I have a system that when I get into my car, took me a while, I log my mileage. And as soon as I get home, I log my mileage. So it takes a while to implement all these systems. I know it sounds overwhelming, but as long as you're aware of all this stuff, if you even implement one or two things now, and slowly as you get those going, I promise you your life will be easier and your Scentsy family business will be too, and it will grow. But all these things that I talked to you about, you need to be implementing in your family's life as well. Again, when is this going to happen? Does this need to happen? Who can be implementing it for you systematically, or if it needs to be you? Yes, things, and then it has to do with priorities. By me planning this basket party that needs to be out by tomorrow morning, is that more important for me to tackle than to be folding clothes right now? Think about it. Folding clothes isn't going to make you money, right? Not going to build your business. So folding clothes can be delayed, right, until after the priority is diminished. Yes, it's going to kill you to leave the dishes in the sink because you have to run out to do deliver the basket party, but the dishes aren't making you money either. The dishes can be done once you've completed your task that is. So just think about those small concepts when you're stressing yourself out. I'm not saying to become a pig. I'm not saying to not care about your home at all, but there are ways to do it, and you need to just remember that eventually you're going to be able to afford to pay somebody to do those things for you. Absolutely. That is something that's been on my dream sheet, my dream board since day one, that one day I can pay somebody to do all those tasks. Now I can afford to have a house cleaner to come in once a month or every twice a month to do all the dusting and stuff, but I want to be able to afford to have a housekeeper because I don't like to do dishes. I don't like to mop. I don't like to scrub the floors. I don't like to scrub toilets. I don't even like to fold laundry or do laundry. I don't like to do any of that stuff. So eventually I want to have enough money to give somebody else an income to do it for me. And then I have more time with my family. Make sense? But there's things that need to happen now in order to get to that point. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and we're at already our 1.5 hour mark, so you may have just stopped it and came back. So welcome back if you did. But this is so important. This kind of ties everything into your of why you're doing all this stuff, so you guys can kind of have a visual. Orville Thompson actually did a training call this Monday, and he broke down the systems of a business, the phases. And these are some concepts that I want everybody to think about. In a business with leadership involved, you have to trade your influence for money eventually. That is the point that you want to get to, that eventually you're not going to be working hard in order to make money. You're just going to be sharing your influence of what you've done in the past to get to where you're at in order to help you make money and the people below you make money. How do we get there? You have to trade labor for money in order to get the skills to have influence. And you can't have influence until you have contributed to your business or to people's lives. Okay? So how does that happen? What does labor come in? We have Scentsy businesses. Yeah, we're not shoveling dirt. We're not, hammering anything. But the labor part of our business is the home parties, labeling everything, packaging everything, delivering everything, asking people to buy, host, and join. That's our labor. sponsoring and training people. That's our labor of the business. Once you put in that labor, you're going to be able to contribute over time to the people that join your team and your customers and hostesses your experience, your skills that you've developed over time through your labor, through doing the parties, through packaging the orders, through labeling the orders and delivering the orders and asking people and getting no's all the time, but still pushing through and then finally finding that yes. Having the experience through sponsoring and learning how to train your people. That is the labor that's going to that you're going to be able to contribute to other people's lives like I am contributing to you now of what I've learned in my life and in my business so you can have a better life and a better business. So now I'm contributing to you, okay, through my labor that I've done, and I'm still doing. I mean, you're never going to not have labor, for instance, per se, but eventually it's going to get to a point that you're more influencing than actually doing labor. The ultimate point after you, because you cannot have influence until you have the contribution, until you've contributed to somebody's life, until you've contributed to in some way, whether it's emotionally or with just the business of sharing what you've learned. But you cannot contribute until you have that sufficiency of skill, until you've done it, until you've mastered it, to share it with them. Because there's nothing for you to share if you don't have the skills in order to train them with, right? Hands-on. I mean, you can't say, oh, this is how you do a party, and you've never done it yourself, right? Because you're the one that's going to have all those techniques of actually mastering it, of the ins and outs from actually doing it. Just like we always say, a bad manager is one that asks people to do things that they don't do themselves. I would never ask any of you to do or to try anything that I haven't done on a regular basis and haven't done a million times, and then I'm not doing myself currently. Okay? The process is labor for money until you can contribute to the lives of others. Then you can trade your contribution for money until they can drive their own income. So what I'm doing now is I'm contributing my skills and what I've learned in my life, all my training calls that I do for you guys and all my posts and all of that stuff, meetings that I do for you. So you guys can be working your own businesses and eventually creating, it's already happened in my specific business. I literally have a business that continues even when I'm not personally working that specific moment or that day or that week or whatever. That's where you want to be in your business. You want to be able to take a week off and go on your incentive trip like I do, and your business is still running. People are still hosting, they're still buying, they're still joining, and you're still making money. And then you use the influence to earn money, meaning what I'm doing is I'm influencing you by sharing what I've learned in my life, what influences I've had. And I'm influencing you to realize that you could do this too, and you could be where I am one day, and further. So I spend less time actually out there working than I did when I first started. Absolutely, hands down. But I still choose to do the work because I want to keep up with my skills in order to continue to contribute and influence you, if that makes sense. You have to be able to build a business, which means build a team, that you can contribute to through your skills, and then train them to build a team as well, which is like a domino effect. The beauty of this process is that if you ever have some type of life-changing experience, God forbid something happens to you physically or something happens to one of your family members physically that you have to care for them. Our superstar director, Dina Ortega, her mother is very, very ill. And now she is her main caregiver. She takes care of her 24 hours. And so the majority of her time is given to taking care of her mother. Yes, she still does events and she still works her business here and there, but the majority of her time is focused on her mom now. But she's put in the labor and the contribution and the influence in her organization that now she has a well-oiled engine that other people are out there working the business for her. Like, she's got me as one of her directors, training all of you, keeping the business going while she's able to care for her mother. Don't you want that for yourself? Don't you want that option? So one day, if God forbid you can't go to a home party physically, or you're too tired, you're one day too old maybe, and you just don't want to do it, and you still have an income. And let me think, the biggest part of this business that is so amazing is that you can literally leave this business and your legacy, the work that you put in, to your family. Becca Levi has basically handed the business over to Callie because now she wants to go travel. Yes, she still wants to be involved because she cares about everybody. She still's on our calls and stuff, but she's not out there doing parties. She leaves the business to Callie. And the nice thing is, Becca built her business so big that Callie doesn't even have to do parties anymore if she doesn't want to. So, don't you want that for your children? I know I do. That's my why, is I want to be able to hand my business over to my children so they will have a well-oiled engine and an income coming in consistently when I'm not able to do it anymore, or I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe I'm going to be, you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to go do other things. I want to go travel for a month or two like Becca. And every single one of us have that opportunity. But you've got to put the labor in. You've got to build the skill in order to get the influence on your teams. And then once you have that influence, you have to be willing to give it. All right, so I hope that this step-by-step, what needs to happen for all of you that are on this call, is really you're going to take the time to implement it. And start with the smallest tasks. Don't try to do all of it at once because you're going to overwhelm yourself and you're going to end up not doing it at all. So if you don't even keep a calendar for your family, start with that. Start getting your family organized. Once they're organized, you can start organizing your business. And then it's just going to be a domino effect from there. Everything's going to start falling into place. So the more you know what needs to happen, the more you're in control, and then you're able to be more flexible. Since I stick to a calendar, I know if I'm going to be free for a party that I want to go to with just family ahead of time. And since these systems are happening, it links to your parties and your income. So you can say, you know what, I don't need to schedule a party eventually when you get to that point. I don't need to schedule a party that Friday because I'm where I am financially. Now, that's, hey, just closing yourself off to, income. But if you absolutely don't need it that month and you have built your business to the point that you could say you could do that, that's a great feeling, I have to tell you. Because at one point I had to just take everything and anything. And I encourage you guys all to do that, to build your business. Because one day you will get to the point that you can say, oh, I don't want to work that day. It's well worth it, I promise you. Now, anybody that has a full-time job or whatever is holding you back from doing this consistently, but you want to build your business to a business, so maybe you could quit your job or whatever and rely just on Scentsy, family products, business, that's when you get with your sponsor. And you need to let them know that's what you want. But you also have to be willing to do the things that it takes. You have to be willing to do what I've done to build my business. Because I have to tell you, it's very insulting when people say, I want the things you have, I want the freedom you have, the financial stability you have, but I'm not willing to do anything you did. I have to say, it's very insulting because anybody that's been successful in any business, they put the work in. So you have to make sure you're willing to do that. So don't waste your sponsor's time if you're not willing to put the work in, and scheduling time with them to, I want to do this, this, and this, and they tell you the things that need to happen, and then you're not willing to do it. Okay? So make that decision first, but I promise you, you're worth it. You're worth the hard work that you're going to put in because eventually you're going to have things in life that people only dream of. I promise. All right, I've spent the morning with all of you on a Sunday that's supposed to be with my family, but that is my sacrifice and my service to all of you. A lot of people may judge me and say, oh, this is supposed to be for God's day, this and that. Well, Friday nights are my God day, just so you know that I take time for my to spend with God. But on another hand, my personal belief is that God is with me every day, and God knows what I'm doing right now. I'm serving all of you, which I believe is the biggest contribution and way of serving Him is by serving other people. So think about that. If you, have a commitment to God, think about what God would think about you taking time out to better yourself in order to help others. I think He'd be supportive. Don't you think? Have a great day.